Hello, Brian here. In this video I want to show you this car here, which is a 2008 Skoda Octavia. This is for somebody that is looking for good, reliable, honest transport. Brian's my name. Normally Fitzpatrick's Garage is where we are. Normally we advertise lots of cars on the net and all that kind of stuff, obviously, but in this case this is actually my brother-in-law's car. So this is not for sale through the garage. This is a private sale. So I'm just selling the car for him, or well, you can pay him direct, whatever suits you, but this is what I do for a living, so it made more sense for me to advertise the car for him. Anyway, this is a car that he has had for nearly 10 years. I'm just going to turn off the engine actually. While they are a good solid engine, they are a noisy engine. So this Skoda Octavia, the history in the car. Car originally came out of England in 2000 and gosh, this is going back. First owner brought it over from England. Let's have a quick look. So what I really like about this car is it's had very few owners. So first licensing in Ireland was 2008. So this guy actually that we bought off in Kilkenny at the time, he actually, sorry, I lied to you, he brought in the car in April 2009. So he brought in the car when it was about a year, 8 months old, something like that. He had the car until 2011, and then on the 12th of April 2011 my brother-in-law bought it. So like I was saying to you, he has the car about 9.5 years. And I think that's cool because it gives somebody some peace of mind that, okay, he wouldn't have kept the car that long if he wasn't confident with the car, or it wasn't doing the job for him and it wasn't giving him any trouble or anything like that. So he had a Renault Laguna before it, and that was a disaster. I used to work in a Renault garage, so didn't get on well with that at all. So he said, you know what, next time I buy a car, I'm going to make sure it's a good one. And he'd done a lot of Google reviews, and at the time Octavia was king of cars, and that's why I suppose you see so many taxi guys using them over the last few years. Anywho, we found this one, which was probably the best value one available at the time versus the mileage and stuff. So when he bought it, it had about 30,000 on it, and the car's now got about 146,000 miles. I drove a car last night. I did about 250 kilometers. Clutch is good and brakes are good and gearbox is good and car drives really well. And I just thinking to myself last night while I'm driving it, looking at the price point of what a car like this is worth these days, and I'm just thinking to myself going, holy Jesus, like you could drive a car like this to Moscow and back and it has no problem. Like it is just, and it's a real, I suppose what's nice about that engine is it's back from a time where there was no diesel particulate filters and all this kind of rubbish these days. That makes cars inherently much less reliable, and in some ways actually slightly harder on fuel. A car like this is actually a much more basic, straightforward engine, and they're very, very fuel efficient. So when I drove it last night, it averaged a really easy, without trying, kind of 58, 59 miles per gallon, no problem. Like, and it's still a big family car. So the boot is ridiculous in these. Now, condition-wise, unfortunately, I would love to show you outside, but I just NCT'd it today, and I just want to get it advertised really because it's been in our yard for the last 2 months, and I've been waiting for an NCT. And outside we're dealing with a day like that, which is rain, so I just can't get a gap during the day where it's dry. The bodywork I think is in really good condition. It is a 12-year-old car, so expect some little dents here and there, but overall I think it's very presentable, and we do take in lots of 2008 cars here, so I have a reasonably good knowledge of what's good and what's bad, and I think this is good condition. They're just cleaning products that I used to keep in the car. So while my sister and her husband had the car, they had some kiddies. I'm going to leave this up because I know it's really dark. So the seat materials and all that kind of stuff are in good condition. Anyway, 3 head restraints, safety belts, Isofix as well, ventilation in through there as well. And again, just a monster sized car. That was one of the reasons that they wanted to go for one of these cars. They were just, and actually one thing he found when he was going to buy his next car, so he bought an A6, so he wanted to treat himself and buy something nice, so he bought an S-Line A6 2017, and again bought it from a guy that had brought in from the north. But for so long he just struggled with the idea of getting away from an Octavia because they were so bloody practical, and this one had done such a good job. But he decided the kids are after getting older, now is the time I'm going to get something fancy that mightn't just be about being pragmatic. So other than that then, actually that's kind of cool, I didn't realise. Right, this car is what's called and elegance, fine. So I remember that. So TDi 1.9 PD, elegance, fine. So height adjustable seat on the passenger side, which is pretty damn rare these days. The other thing as well, it had nice wheels, it had front fog lights, and I remember the time when we bought it, it had rear parking sensors, which seemed to be pretty seldom, or usually not abundant anyway, on the cars that were in Ireland at the time. And this was 2011, which was the middle of the financial crisis. So anyway, I would go as far as saying, here's the thing. If you're looking for a car and you want some honest, reliable motoring, I think out of all of the Octavias in 08 that are going to be for sale, and the significance of 08 is going to be that you're into a 280 tax band. So road tax 280. I can't remember actually if I showed you on this the NCT, so apologies, I did the NCT this morning, and it is NCT'd 1121, and if you look at the mileages, they all correspond. They've only been doing it for a few years now, but they all correspond correctly. And for anyone that's curious about the pass or fail sheet, no advisories. And like I was saying to you, I think it drives really well. So at the price point it's at, oh yeah, sorry, and it has those hood lamps as well. I think that one thing actually I would say is, before actually I go on to that, it will need time belt. So we will have to reflect that in the pricing that's agreed on the car. But I think if someone buys a car like this, puts a time belt on it, gets their mechanic to run around it, Jesus, like there's some really good driving left in it for years at 146, and we've seen cars like this coming in, traded in 300,000 and 400,000, no problem at all. And most taxi drivers that have used them should be able to confirm. So what I would say to you is, if you're looking for an Octavia 08, which is the start of that kind of lower road tax rate, I think it has to be one of the better ones around. And the reason being, he actually did a very good job looking after it. It ain't perfect, there is a couple of little dimples here and there, and on the inside there's a bit of a weird tear, which I can only put down to, that's where you would put your arm, and I'd say over time, I suppose this indentation along here eventually cracked in the sun or something like that, so that's right there. But really, that's as bad as it gets on the inside. But it's well looked after, and like I was saying to you, he has the car 10 years nearly. So a lot of the ones we take in, they will have 6, 7, 8 owners at this stage. They'll be moved around, and there's nothing wrong with them, they still do the job. But I think one like this is a little bit more seldom because the mileage that's on it. Anyway, all you can do is, if you are looking for an Octavia, come look at it, drive it up the road, and I don't think we'd be wasting anyone's time getting to do it. But as I said, it's not for sale through the garage, so I can't put a warranty on it, and I can't take a trade-in. But give me a ring and I'll be happy to talk to you about anything on the car. So if you want to know anything, just give me a buzz. 086 843 1945. Brian is my name, and it's Fitzpatrick's Garage is where I am. So I have no problem going through anything you want to know in the car. And then if you want to come look at it, I have it here at the garage, so it's probably the best thing is to come look at it here. He's already into his new car, so I like to send you, you don't have to pay me, you can pay him, so you'll know that there's nothing weird or wonderful happening. Anyway, anyone wants more information, give me a buzz. And I think there's the makings of a good car. Once somebody does do a time belt on it, quick service run around, it's very, very tidy and presentable, I think. And you got a good car there for 5, 6, 7 years if you want. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.